This is Jabo. I'm your host, Brendan Bryan, and these are my power rankings for the NASCAR Cup Series after the 10th race of the year at Talladega. Let's get started. But before that, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. It really helps out the channel, and it is always greatly appreciated. And with that out of the way, now let's get to the power rankings. A lot to discuss here at Talladega. Man, I actually had to write notes down for this. First off the track news. NASCAR CEO and owner Jim France is stepping down from his CEO role in NASCAR, and he's also 81, by the way, which I did not realize. So he will be passing the reins down to Steve O'Donnell. Probably would have been Steve Phelps, but you know, the trial and all that fallout happened. But Steve O'Donnell will now be NASCAR's new CEO going forward, with Ben Kennedy, the grandnephew of Jim France, will be the COO. I'm really excited about this leadership duo. They seem to kind of know what they're doing. Ben Kennedy, as we all know, has been doing the schedule for years and years. And I don't know about you, but if you remember the schedule from 2016 and compare it to just any schedule in the last 5-6 seasons, it's night and day. It's so much better. So hopefully we'll get to see more of that innovation throughout the rest of NASCAR going forward. A lot of fresh air in NASCAR this season. So I'm really excited for this new leadership pairing. We'll see what they do. And yeah, first things first was Talladega, which, by the way, they changed the stage lengths in this race to help combat fuel saving. And the reason fuel saving is such an issue, it's not because of the act itself, it's because the cars have a hard time passing recently in the Gen 7 car at super speedways. Not Atlanta, probably because of tire wear, but at Daytona and Talladega, they have a hard time passing. So the less time you spend on pit road, the higher up the order you get. It's becoming a track position race, essentially. So obviously they're looking into things to fix that as soon as this year, as they said. But just kind of as an experiment, they changed the stage lengths, which I thought was really interesting. And after watching the race, it kind of makes me want the stages to not have the stage breaks anymore. At least at the super speedways and also at road courses, but you can't have it all. Because stage 1 was super long, while stage 2 and 3 were really short. But the longer stage 1 went on, because the longer the green flag run ran on, the field became more and more spread out, strategy became more important, and it just became super interesting by the end of stage 1. So maybe going forward, maybe no stage breaks at the super speedways, but you know, we'll see. If they could figure out how to get these cars to, you know, pass a little easier, that would definitely fix the issue, and they wouldn't have to get rid of the stage breaks. I know the purpose of the stage breaks, because good grief, if we got to go back to worrying about phantom debris cautions, I'm going to lose it. It's like PTSD. But also kind of an interesting counterpoint here. Before, in the Gen 6 era, we were arguing that there was too much of a hole being punched in the air and runs were too big. So it's kind of interesting that the script has flipped to the opposite now. So we'll see if they can find a middle ground here. But I kind of like the longer stage lengths. Maybe that's something they can run going forward, or maybe just no stage breaks to let the strategy kind of naturally evolve throughout the race if they can't do anything with this car to make it pass a little easier on super speedways. Speaking about the race itself, to start, it was a fuel saving race, and here's a hot take for you. I actually kind of like the fuel saving. It kind of reminds me a lot of watching short track speed skating at the longer distances, like 1,500 meters and up. I watched it a lot during the most recent Winter Olympics earlier this year, and I quite enjoyed it. It's kind of like a game of chicken, and someone who really took advantage of that game of chicken was Chad Fincham, who I got to give a big shout out to. Driving the 66 car for Garage 66, he just said, screw it, I'm not saving fuel, and he went straight to the front and led 8 whole laps, which is really great for that team. In fact, I think they're bringing him back for next weekend because of that performance, so shout out to him. That was really cool to see. I also want to give a shout out to Daniel Dye, who ran his first ever Cup race with Live Fast Motorsports, that 78 car. He came home in 24th, so not a bad run for your first showing in the Cup Series. So yeah, good on him. With the longer stage lengths, you could see some people would push, some would save, some people would pay for it at the back end of the run, some would pay for it in the next run. Pretty interesting all around. The Fords ended up having the right strategy and won stage 1, but once the field got back bunched up together after the stage break, it was balls to the walls. I mean, they were going full throttle. And eventually someone was going to blank, and it was Bubba Wallace, who was leading the pack on lap 116. They entered the corner. He got shoved into the corner by a train of cars led by Ross Chastain. He spun around, took out 26 cars. Well, they weren't taken out, but they were involved in the accident, which is insane because there was only 40 cars in this race. So that's well over half the field was involved in this accident. So pretty crazy thing to see. The race kind of calmed down after that for a little bit, and then stage 3 it ramped back up with the smaller field. But with the run of the checkers needing no fuel conservation, they kind of just ran gridlocked for the rest of the run, and it was a battle between if Carson Hocevar or Chris Buescher could really get the better pushes. Chris Buescher had Eric Jones pushing him in that Doritos car, and he seemed to be like the best pusher left in the field, but Carson Hocevar took care of that. He just door slammed him, got rid of him. That deprived Buescher of his best pusher. Hey, that rhymed. And that meant as the race went on, Hocevar just kept inching further and further ahead. And finally, on the last lap, he took the lead and never looked back. And Carson Hocevar rode the Dente all the way to victory, his first win in the NASCAR Cup Series, which was awesome to see. And then he did the coolest burnout I have ever seen, the coolest celebration I've ever seen in NASCAR. Very dumb, very dangerous, but gosh, wasn't it cool. I doubt he does it again, but you know, that is such a great moment to see. And yeah, that was so cool. This has been a long time coming for Hocevar, and it's going to be just the first of many. So really cool winner, some decent racing throughout the day. Not the worst Talladega race we've seen in this Gen 7 era, I would say. Really like the strategy, especially in stage 1. All right, now taking a look at the power rankings. Kind of interesting movement. I try not to do a ton because you really can't tell power ranking wise who's going to be good throughout the season and how much weight do you really put into a super speedway. But you could tell a few things. First off, some great underdog runs here. Front Row Motorsport, what a day for them. All 3 of their cars were inside the top 11. Zane Smith finished 5th. Noah Gragson finished 9th, and Todd Gilliland finished 11th. So really great to see that. This team's kind of struggled this season. Gilliland's been surging as of late, but a really good result for Zane Smith to kind of snap his bad luck streak, and a good result for Noah Gragson, who really hasn't had no luck this year. Also, good result for Ty Dillon and AJ Allmendinger. Good run for Colleague. Great run for JTG Daugherty Racing. That Chef Boyardee car is really good luck for them, it seems, at these super speedways. Riley Hirschman, what a day he had. He, in fact, I think had 3 penalties through his first 2 pit stops, so pretty eventful day for him. We'll see if he can continue his speed he's built the last couple of weeks in Texas. How about Alex Bowman? Got a podium finish, his first top 5 of the season, his first top 10, his first top 15 of the season. So congrats to that 48 crew. Hopefully that's some momentum building for them going forward, because this team I still think can make the playoffs, but they really got to hit it. I mean, they got to finish 3rd the rest of the way. RCR got good results. Austin Dillon finished top 20 again, and Kyle Busch scored the team's first top 10 of the season. Yes, it took them 10 races to score their first top 10 of the season, and it was a 10th place result. You see Josh Berry there, your biggest loser of the week. I mean, it's Josh Berry. He's either really good or really bad, it seems like, in this Wood Brothers equipment. And today he got caught up in the big one. Not much he could really do there, but still, I feel like I had to drop him. He drops 3 positions in the rankings. You also see as we go further to the front, I had to drop Brad a couple spots just because, you know, the guys I moved up in front of him had better results this season. Chris Buescher, a really strong result. And Carson Hocevar, your biggest winner of the week, moved up 4 whole spots. And I wouldn't be shocked if he moves further up the list very, very soon. Also, Bubba Wallace. The guy has speed at these tracks, but I don't know. He's kind of either on or off. So I feel like I moved him down. I think that's kind of where he is right now. Don't be shocked if he moves back up like that top 8 maybe. But I kind of figure Bubba's going to be hovering around this 8th to 12th in the power rankings for the rest of the season. As we move towards the front, you see a lot of poor results for these drivers. Again, Kyle Larson's never been good at these super speedways, but he'll be good next week at Texas. Same with William Byron. Chase Elliott, good top 5. Ryan Blaney could always win at Talladega. Didn't quite have it today, got caught up in that accident. How about Tyler Reddick? I want to shout him out, actually. First off, he is the only driver left in the series with a top 20 streak to start the season. In fact, he has a top 15 streak going on since the start of the season. The last driver that had that top 20 streak going was Brad Keselowski, but he didn't even have a top 15 streak going like Tyler Reddick did. And my goodness, you just couldn't kill the guy at Talladega. You couldn't. I think he was involved in like 2 or 3 separate incidents, including troubles on pit road and stuff, but you just couldn't get rid of the guy. I mean, he ends up 14th. I mean, that kind of just shows the true character of this team this year. And I know it's early, but that's a championship level performance. This team had a lot of adversity during the race, but they pushed through it and got a solid result nonetheless. Keep an eye on this team. They are still the championship favorites. A couple other quick notes here. Joey Logano continues to skid here. He's not looking too good, boys. I don't know what really else to say. Austin Cindric continues to do pretty well. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes up these power ranks over the course of the season. And yeah, Trackhouse got a good result with Ross Chastain. Man, Gisbergen looked like he was going to get a top 10 or top 12 result, but got caught up in a last lap accident in the Tri-Oval, along with Ryan Preece, who still got a top 20 result, so not terrible days for them in the slightest. Well, there you have it, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to my weekly NASCAR Cup Series Power Rankings on Jabo. I've been your host, Brendan Bryan, and I will see you all next week after Texas.